Hello everybody, today we're gonna sentence diagram direct and indirect objects. A direct object is a noun that receives the action or verb from the sentence which is affected. Direct objects go beside in a separate line from the verb, like shown here. When you create the diagram, don't pass the vertical line through the horizontal line. So, like also shown here in the diagram, here the vertical line is not passing the horizontal line. If you pass it like this, this is incorrect. Because the lines should always just connect with the horizontal line, not intersect. Well, indirect object. It is a person or noun to whom or for whom something is provided. Indirect objects go beneath the verb line, like also shown here. If you create a line beneath the noun line or the direct object line, this is incorrect. Examples, direct objects. So, first, for certain sentence diagramming sentences with direct objects, first read the sentence. Sam kicked the ball. Then, we're gonna identify the verb, kicked. So, we're gonna write it here, kicked. Then, the subject. Who kicked Sam? What was kicked? That's the central question for finding the direct object. What? What was kicked? The ball. So ball is the direct object, and then we create a line beneath the direct object line, because it's an article describing ball. Then, Jenny paints Easter eggs. What's the verb? Paints. Who paints? Jenny. What was painted? What was painted? The Easter eggs. So eggs is the main. It is the main direct object, and then we create a line beneath it, writing Easter, because Easter is describing what kind of eggs. Third, he aimed the test. What's the verb? Aimed. Who aimed? He. What was aimed? The test. So test is the main direct object. And then we create a line writing because it's an article describing the test. Next, in examples in direct object. So firstly we need to read the sentence. Drake gave her a cookie. What's the verb? Gave. What's the subject? Drake. What? Who gave? Drake. What was gave? A cookie. So right here in the direct object, cookie, extend the line, and create a line beneath it because is describing cookie. And for who the cookie was gave, for her is a indirect object, So the central question of indirect object is who, for who was giving the cookie? Her. Next, he sent a rose to his girlfriend. What's the verb? Sent. What's the subject? Who sent? He. What was sent? A rose. That's a direct object. Rose. Extend the line. A. Because it's describing a rose. To who was sent the rose? To his girlfriend. To is a preposition, so we're going to write here to. His is describing girlfriend. And girlfriend will be the main indirect object. Thirdly, the kid rewarded the dog with a treat. What's the verb? Rewarded. What's the subject? Who rewarded? The kid. Kid. Then we create a line. The, because the it's an article, describing kid. What was rewarded? A treat. That's a direct object. A treat. So here I treat. A. For who was rewarded the treat? For the dog. The dog is an indirect object. So dog will be the main direct, and the is describing the dog, so it would be an article, creating another line. Now we're left with the word with. That's a preposition that you will see described in another next video. And with will create another line beneath the verb being a preposition. Next. So, examples of direct objects. First, you need to read the sentence. Nick rode the bike. What is the verb? Rode. Here, rode. Who rode? Nick. Nick rode. That's the subject. What was rode? That's the direct object. What was rode? The bike. So the bike will be the main direct object. And the will create another line like shown here. Because it's describing bike. Second, she ate pasta. What's the verb? Ate. Ate, it's a verb. Who ate? She ate. That's the subject. What was ate? The direct object. What was ate? The pasta. Pasta will be the direct object. Third, the kid jumped rope. What's the verb? Jumped. Here it's jumped. Who jumped? The kid. The kid jumped. So kid will be the main subject, and the will have a line beneath kid because it's describing kid. What was jumped? The rope. Rope will be the direct object, the rope. Fourth, Miss Emma taught lessons. What's the verb? Taught. Taught is a verb. Who taught? Miss Emma. Miss Emma. It's a subject. What was taught? The lessons. The lessons were taught. That's a direct object. Now, let's continue with indirect objects, sentence diagramming examples. Mom gave my sister a lollipop. So what's the verb? Gave. Gave, it's the verb. Who gave? Mom gave. What was giving? What's a direct object? A lollipop. So lollipop would be the main direct object, and a will be describing lollipop because it's an article. Now the central question. For who the lollipop was giving? My sister. So my sister will be the main indirect, but then we will create another line because my is describing sister. Second, I baked the class Nutella desserts. What's the verb? Baked. Baked is a verb. Who baked? I baked. I baked. What was gave? What was baked? What's the direct object? Nutella desserts. Desserts is the main direct object, and Nutella will create another line because the desserts were made from Nutella. For who the Nutella desserts were baked? The class. So the class would be the main direct object, and then we will have the in another line describing class. Third, she gave the cat tuna. What's the verb? Gave. Who gave? She gave. What was gave? Tuna. Tuna was gave. Who the tuna was gave? The cat. The cat will be the indirect object. Cat would be the main indirect object, and the will be describing the cat. Fourth, Grandma knits Sophie a scarf. What's the verb? Knits. Knits is a verb, so knits is written here. Then, who knits? Grandma. Grandma knits. What was knitted? A scarf. A scarf was knitted. So scarf will be the main indirect object. And then would create another line because it's describing scarf. For who the scarf was knitted? Sophie. The scarf was knitted for Sophie. So Sophie is an indirect object. So that was all for today of direct and indirect object sentence diagramming. Thank you for all.